Hey everybody, this is Erica from the Classy Climb blog. I'm doing this one about skills matter. And a lot of people are going to say, well, Erica, what do you mean skills matter? Uh, a couple of artists going to look at income inequality and, like, of course, what we call the male recession. So income inequality, this article basically is talking about how, people who are hedge fund managers, people who are doctors, bankers, executive entertainers, and doctors who make up 1% are still making more money. Of course, every year we watch ESPN and all these shows showing all these football players making more and more and more money. We see that all the time. But what happened is you have a lot of people who used to be white collar jobs in an office that got wiped out in 2008, and they haven't got back up there. The number one person losing their job right now is 45 to 54. So a lot of times when I do these videos and I'm talking about, well, they should just go hustle and they should go get more skills, a lot of these people have gotten bachelor degrees, master's degrees. They've got degrees, but they don't have skills that we want, right? Certification. So if I was to tell one of them, hey, you got to go back and get this certification at community college, their eyes would roll in the back of their head. They'd be like, no, 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 I want to invest. Look, if you're 45 to 54 and you have some credit cards or you have the opportunity to actually invest, I know people who've lost their job and become property managers, or once they got kicked out of a job that was management over a bunch of apartments, they took over and created their own office with their wife. And he was 50 at the time. Now he's 54 and he's got plenty of units. So there's opportunity out there. People have to have cash in order to take advantage of it, because you can see right here that the privileged silver of the population saw pay climb at almost twice the rate income of every 99% of people, which basically the average pay was $48,000 a year. Okay, so last year, 7.7% of these 1% households had an income of 1.36 million a year. So, that's a big difference. A big difference in taxes is a big difference in spending levels. If you have a hiccup or accident at 48,000, you're going to have a rough year. If you have a hiccup or a surgery at 1.3 mil, you might be able to get through. You might be able to make some other investments, move your money around, and give yourself some time if you're thinking that way. So here is just ways you got to think about this. Is over here, the next one, vanishing male worker, how America fell behind. Now, I mean, on one hand, I want to say, man, if I was 45, 47, 46, 50 years old, Erica, I wouldn't want to go back to community college, and I wouldn't want to be a truck driver, and I wouldn't want to do these things. This is true. But again, this man in this article right here is talking about he got offered a job at Chick-fil-A for $10 an hour. And he's like, well, I'm 49 with 2 kids. That's just not going to cut it. Says who? That's the pay. You either take it or you don't take it. And so, of course, he's chosen not to take it. That's fine. But guess what? That means a lot of men are not working. And they're calling it the Great Male Recession because many males are not getting back in employment. Like $10 an hour makes no sense to them. If they get divorced, they're going back to their parents' house because they don't have any money. There's a lot of things. So the poll found that 85% of men in the prime age without jobs, do not have bachelor degrees. 34% had criminal records, making it hard to find work. Here's 2 things that people got to pay attention. The 85% that don't have a degree, they don't need a degree. There are so many jobs out there that they can have that they just can go get a certification for. That might be a 6-month certification, or a year, or 2 years. They don't need the degree. They're only 20% of jobs out there are looking for people with a degree. So you see that 85%? Yeah, the other 20%, 15% are working somewhere with a degree. Okay, so 34% said they had a criminal record. Now, there are websites who print out sheets of people who have criminal records and the places that can hire them. You're going to be kind of stuck in the $10 to $15 range. You also can go get a truck driver's license. You also can go get skills and work in certain hospital settings. You don't have to let that limit you, but you got to know that if you ever mess up and get a criminal thing going on, you're going to have to get some kind of certification. It's just not, there's nobody's going to pay you. They have reasons to go, well, we did them out because he had a jail credits. You got to be able to have something that says you can't, not, you're needed. Plumbing, HVAC services, all kind of stuff. Okay. Okay, so then it said the poll found that 30% had used food stamps, while 33% said they had taken food from a nonprofit or religious organization. People don't realize a lot of these churches and these nonprofits are soaking up a bunch of what's going on. They just are. 44% of men in the survey said their jobs in their area they could get, but they're not willing to take. Hush, I'm on recording. Willing to take. So, of course, imagine that. Somebody who says, hey, there's jobs in my area, I'm just not willing to take them. That's very interesting, So, a changing society. Men today feel less pressure to find jobs find less pressure to find jobs because they are less likely than previous generations to be providing for others. Only 28% of men without jobs compared to 58% of women said they had a child under 18 with them. This is where single parenthood goes ham. And this is where you see guys living with their parents. They don't feel pressure. They don't have a wife to be accountable for. They don't have children to be accountable for. So they don't feel that pressure. And that right there is the key, because a lot of times men were pushed to go get that degree, pushed to go get better skills because they had people to take care of and the pressure was there. Okay, so again, I think this adds to a lot of women unhappiness where both or spouses are having to work because of low skills. And so the children need to be watched after and the house needs to be watched after, but you can't do it all, right? So I think this is kind of where it's at. So what non-working men say, out of 100, over here on the left-hand side, you can see 64 want a job. 45 have looked for a job in the past year. 25 have looked for a job and would be willing to take it that pays minimum wage. 44 say there are local jobs they could obtain but not willing to take. Now let me do this. This is twofold. When you have the local job and you're not really willing to do it, it's because you're worried about what other people think or seeing people. You're like, well, I'm not that desperate. I don't need that job. And that's sad, but that's the world we live in. People like to floss, and Facebook isn't cool when you're delivering pizzas, right? So 34 have been convicted of a crime. 17 say their physical health is poor. Okay, look, if you got poor health, you had a heart attack, you haven't taken care of yourself, you're overweight, there's some trucking companies that will not hire you if you're super fat. They just won't do it. Says that not working has been bad for mental health. 43. 48 say health problems or disabilities is why they're not working. A lot of people are milking this, I'm injured, I can't do hard labor. True. I mean, at that point, you got to find something you can do. There's so many. 30 receive food stamps, 4 receive unemployment benefits, 22 get money from a spouse or other employed person in their house. Now, this is the deal. If you have a family member who's working, and let's say you said, look, I've got some skills I can teach somebody else, and I can create a blog or a YouTube channel, I'm fine with that. Or if you have skills like your wife works all day, so you take the car y'all share and you go haul junk or find ways to resell things, that's fine too. So again, 25 had a full-time job and earned more than $40,000 in their last job. 22 have missed rent or payments because they've stopped. Just all kind of things on here. It just make you sad. But this is the thing. There's a lot of guys said I would rather be working because then I wouldn't be so bored. If you're bored, at this point, you can find things to do in your house. You could clean up your yard. You could build things onto your yard. You can create a garden. At least have seasonal fruits and vegetables to sell or something, right? Or go out and find things to do. Create a life for yourself, okay? So here on this article, this one's talking about nearly half of the black men and young black men in Chicago are unemployed or out of school. I don't know if it'll let me go back. I guess not. Yeah, there it is. Are employed or out of school, right? That's 50%. That's crazy, right? So one, people need to leave Chicago. I mean, it's just, if it's lack of opportunity environment. Two, a lot of these young men are the same young men I'm talking about. That back in the 1980s, or if they're married with family, they would be getting some kind of blue-collar job. They would be getting some skills they would need. Again, the same thing. This article says the same thing. Black men have been in a permanent recession. They've had 20% going for a long time. So a lot of that would be people with records, people who went to college and they're not getting callbacks. But a lot of times you just have to go get the needed skills. Like right now, if I go look on Craigslist or I go look on Indeed, there's a ton of spots hiring for, there's a ton of jobs hiring for CDLs, forklift specialists, painters, construction. And people are just, I don't think, are interested. And two, they didn't see themselves doing that job, so they don't want to do that job. And that's sad. So look, it's unemployment right there. Black men, Hispanic men, white men. Okay, national, New York State, and New York City. Some terrible numbers, people. So look, again, why does this matter? This matters because if you have a young daughter or someone in college looking for a spouse, she's going to have a harder time. If you are a married young couple and you see these numbers and that could be you should probably work on investments and saving in the next, year, figure out a plan so that if one of you does get fired, you have money and you're not like completely butt out, This is why the gig economy is so important. So many people are participating in it because they don't have a job, full-time job. So look, everybody, this is Erica, Classy Climb Blog. You guys have a great day.